G'day, g'day, g'day. Mathematical KM here. Remember their initials, not a title. Keith Malumbi. Coming to you with round 4 of the Cold Comfort Cup at the Canberra Chess Club. And this is going to be a pretty interesting one. And with some lessons in the middle game, in the importance of pins, doubling of pawns, and open files. Anyway, without saying too much more, let's get into it with the white pieces. So G3, E5. So far, well, that's interesting. It's not the D5 that we would normally see. But so let's go with the Solomon's course for the Hippo, the standard third move. And here comes the D5. But interesting to have the pawn on C6 and not a knight. Let's keep it going. We bring the knight in behind the pawn. He brings a knight. E-pawn forward. And just on that one, just in order of moves in the Hippo, I have been known to play this one just for the prophylaxis of not letting that bishop come in. But in terms of not letting the bishop sneak into F3, I've already got a knight on D2, which is why I thought it would be okay to go with the e-pawn first. So let's see how we go. It does end up with the bishop in an interesting place for white. For black, he's light bishop. But he comes in. I mean, the knight there's a move we were always going to play. He brings another bishop out, developing that. Computer likes H3, so do I. He moves it back. And here's a smaller lesson from this game for next time. It's nearly +1 to white if we dive in with G4 right now. That's obviously on the cards at some point. But am I ready to start the kingside stuff when I haven't even done anything on the queenside there yet? Obviously, yes. But what did I play? Started on the queenside. I was thinking about moving this bishop back, that knight around, all that sort of thing. He swings another knight out to D7, developing. It's cooperating with his other knight and defender of that pawn. Let's see, did the computer like B4? Well, yes, top move, plus 0.01. But looking at that, and traditionally when you're getting your full thick-skinned Hippo setup, normally you're down minus 0.5, minus 0.6 or 7. So to be at 0 is actually going okay. Even though we're with the white pieces, I'm not sure how much difference that makes in the typical breather moment evals. Might have a look into that at some point. Anyway, he moves his bishop back. So this is the breather moment. It is kind of, and I don't think Solomon's course has much on having bishops right on the outside looking in. But interesting nevertheless. But this is, we've got, what do we go in? Do we swing this knight in there? Or this pawn is defended by two pieces, one of which is the ultimate defender, a pawn. This pawn is only defended by a knight, so the one piece that lines up on the king. That looks like the sort of thing that we would like to go for. But of course, castling's in there as second best. But finishing, and I lied, we weren't quite at the breather moment. We haven't fianchettoed. And that actually is the top move, and played. So what does black do? He castles, so now, sorry about that folks, now we're at the breather moment. And I think we're still same or similar calculations. This pawn's only got one protector. It doesn't line up on the king anymore, but only the one protector. This pawn has got 2, and one of which is a pawn. Now it is interesting, g4 is still the best in hassling that bishop and getting it away from pinning that knight to our queen. And played. So playing another best move here. It's almost forced, bishop to g6. Anything else is ridiculous. So he's played it. Now you'll notice just by the pattern of the first 3 moves there, gold is plus 0.4. Silver and bronze are both minus a half or worse. And the computer actually calls this a great move. But just ask the chess giant, this is after a G or a B pawn push, it's the standard move is swinging a knight in behind. So we get given a great move for playing the standard move of bringing that knight in. What does black do? Comes forward. Now, it's second best. What was best? Oh, h4 and looking to trap that bishop. He's not going to get trapped. Let's shift my video a bit. h4. Apparently he'll play d4. Then we'll play h5. He takes a pawn which is threatening a knight. We take back. Knight d5. Not sure if we eventually... that our pawn is still looking at his bishop. That's an interesting line that I don't think humans would play. But certainly, so if you don't see that, then nearly as good is d times e4. And wondering why, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, the first of which is a pawn. Black has got 1, 2, 3. So we should come out in front and win a central pawn. So let's see how this plays out. We'll play that second best one. Interesting that Queen e7's is best at this point. But, and that's pretty natural, it takes back. And again that h4 and hassling his light bishop. I guess it's going to make him move pawns around his king, inducing weaknesses. So it's up to plus 2.51. So that's interesting. But I've got 3 pieces on this pawn, and he's got 2. And the second best is knight d times e4. Knight d times e4. He takes back. Our best is taking with a knight, then the bishop. I take with the knight. And we're nearly at the main, totally created by myself in why it's going to be such a pivotal moment. But this is an interesting one. Is he going to take back with the bishop and give up the bishop? Bishop c7 is just an interesting diagonal and developing his dark bishop. That's his top move. Taking with his bishop is his silver, 1.14, and a5, sending that pawn down to counterplay, is third best. But he plays a different move and takes it up to plus 1.52. And against the human that he was playing, which is me, that was a pretty good move. So we're what? Move 16, and I've won a central pawn. I've got 1 central pawn left, he's got none. Both of my bishops look pretty good. As to his, it's looking pretty even, but I'm up a whole pawn, and my pieces are looking okay. He's castled, I haven't castled, that's in his favour, and that's going to end up being a lot in his favour. But as you can see, the evaluation of all of those little factors is plus 1.52. I'm in front. That's 1 is the central pawn, and 0.5 is it's saying it likes my position that much, which is a half a pawn's worth. So, I seriously considered this move, but I didn't like having the knight pinned to the queen. But he's got 2 pieces on the knight. That's obviously the problem to be dealing with, because I've only got the 1 protector at the moment. So queen here would be okay. I did think about queen here to give 2 and not pinned by the bishop. What's this? Knight g3 is moving the knight back into a nice safe outpost, the place where we put it in the first place. And knight g3 is still up half a pawn for white. Queen to d3. This one is plus 1, so that's still not bad. And the best move, queen d6. Because he can't take the bishop, can't take the knight with the bishop, or will take his queen. His best move after I put a queen here is to move this one to d8 to protect his queen, and then I've still got the choice of getting the ladies off, which is actually the move that I should play, being up a central pawn and de-escalating that which is going to be a real pain. It's not going to happen if I take the ladies off. So I can see why queen d6 is fantastic. Let's just have a quick... His best move. And we're at plus 1.6, so it's gone up a little. And at that point, the best thing I can do, I can castle my king into relative safety, and that puts a rook on the open file. That is a magical, brilliant continuation from this pivotal moment. So let's come back to move 16. And try this one. So there's 2 pieces protecting the knight. It's not plus 1.5, it's only plus 0.8. Rook f to d8. Then for me, getting that king out of there, you've got both flavours of castling are in the top 3 moves, and not that different. And queen to c4 is getting the queen out of the... I've effectively let black win the open file. We don't want that. But if I get the king out of danger, then I've got the 2 rooks and I can probably fight for the file, which is the message there. So let's come back to that pivotal move 16. Now I've in the end discounted both of these and not played them. I did think about them, wish I had. I'll be honest, that is a really cool idea that I totally get now that the computer's suggested it. Didn't play it. I thought, let's move the knight. And I won one of the games I won over the last weekend at the ANU was based on my opponent forgetting that knights could go backwards. They can, and this one should have. That was a nice safe but safe move, keeping the small advantage. That's what I was looking for. And whilst I realised I discounted the importance of just how stuffed I would be, excuse the language, by destroying my pawns and letting that happen. And also allowing... not fighting for the open file. My king's still in the middle and my pawns are going to get stuffed up. Because as well as stuffing my pawns, if he's gone with that one, which he will, he gets, with tempo, taking the file. I think we start to see just how bad the move I'm about to play is. So the good news is when we get to the end, we're going to see that we did win the opening, so higher accuracy there, and we're getting halfway into the middle game. But the analysis and evaluation of a position like this particular tableau, that's where we need to get better. Okay, so we've seen all the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Let us now, ouch, and from plus 1.5 to minus 2.7. Ouch. And look, the best move, nighttime c5, very efficient opponent, plays it. Takes, and his next best move is rook a to d8. Doesn't need to worry about his bishop because he's threatening my queen. And get the queen out of the way, protecting the pawn, check. Block the check. Gets his bishop right up in there. And it hurts. Oh, and I believe that was my best move to try and evict the thing. Yeah, bishop to f1. Queen comes in after the bishop, threatening the rook. He swaps it off. Best move is to take with the king. Take with the king. That's kind of nice. I've got 2 on that. Try to bring my queen across in the vague hope of... the difficulty is the king can't get out. It's just going to... I am so discombobulated, and it's all come from that move 16. Rook there would have been threatening the bishop, would have nowhere to go, and if the bishop had come all the way down, then he'd come another step, win the queen. Why did he do that? It's actually a beautiful move. Now the king can't even dream of getting anywhere. And the rook can't come up. It's just nice. The rook can come that far. Queen there. I realised at this point I had a choice of checkmates to provide my opponent. I mean, it's saying -7. That's effectively checkmates. And this one's quite nice, and I chose to go down to this one. Quite the beautiful little checkmate. So, well played to my opponent, who seriously, after being outplayed to this point, totally punished that bad move. So that was the pivotal moment. Let's have a look at the review. Yep. So we did quite well for 16 moves. Let's have a look at the highlights. 73 to 85. Funnily enough, that great move was that standard the knight comes in behind, so not that great. But in terms of the opening, 91.1 to 88.7. Pretty consistently winning the opening, getting into a middle game. But I think until that move 16 we were doing a lot better than 62.2, and my opponent deserved that 82 for putting the ball in the hoop after being given that opportunity. So that was an interesting game, and it highlights the type of middle game situation that I need to practice evaluating. And if not making the best move, I need to take up, I finally thought of a title and maybe a hippo pick for this video. I need the do no harm. This hippo needs to make moves that do no harm to the position. when I don't see that really good move. Anyway, I will see you guys after my next game. Bye for now.